So in the last week, I've been exposed to a few different sources of talks, videos, posts about the topic of our economy, the paradigm, how we live well. And it's got me to thinking about how we live well. And last week's talk was Friday night about how midichlorians, about how mitochondria affect everything in our bodies and how we can shock our mitochondria and make a really great start. It's hosted by somebody who ran a question and answer session thereafter and put in a whole sampler of topics of emerging technologies, drones, driverless cars, fiat currency, and just all put it into the same hopper, as though all those phenomena somehow came together, so they somehow were going to remake the world. And then Sunday night, when I was working all weekend, one of those things to kind of catch up on what I'm doing is to work all weekend. Okay. I was listening to Zeitgeist by Netflix, which goes on to be critical and disassemble how our economy is really a mechanism to perpetuate debt, perpetuate the power struggles, and how we're living in this sort of service where we end up with debt increases, paying off debt is eventually a lost prospect. And then, so basically for debt to work, there has to be perpetual growth. For debt to work, we have to get into more debt and find a way to pay it off, or we have to wait an unnatural amount of time to make something work. So that was Sunday's diet. Monday morning I had some more free time in YouTube, and somebody had posted the entire 4-Hour Workweek audiobook on YouTube. I was listening to that and listening to them talk about arbitrage and how you can live the lifestyle of your dreams. And all you had to do was tune into how the new rich do their thing. So you're supposed to use arbitrage. In other words, you're supposed to build your success on the inefficiencies and inequalities that are experienced by people elsewhere in the world. You're supposed to live well because here property costs a lot, but you go to Thailand, property costs very little. And you're supposed to go for people who haven't figured it out. And by going for those people, you win. So in other words, you're just trying to build on inequalities in the system. You're trying to go for a system that doesn't work and exploit it. The problem is, things get better. So a system that has loopholes, those loopholes are going to close. So your model isn't about getting it done right or successfully working on a better system. You're just making use of a loophole before it closes. So if that's what's happening, you're stuck with a business model that only has temporary success. So if it's what you're hinging your future on, it's going to quickly dry up. The land's going to fall away from beneath your feet. So what if that's maybe not the best way to proceed? What if investing in building a model and trying to make something work, but building a model that has a very short lifespan isn't the way it works? Like, imagine if farming was something that only worked for 2 or 3 years, and then the farmer had to go off and relearn what to do. The plants grew different, the harvesting happened different, the model about how you get your stuff to market all worked different, and that every 3 years the farmer would have to go back to square one. That doesn't seem like a model that can work. So if the arbitrage model, the idea of exploiting loopholes doesn't work, then maybe something that's going to work out better is looking for a paradigm that doesn't hinge on the old systems and how the old systems are inherently faulty. Maybe the new system is something that's evergreen, that doesn't have a few smart years and then close off. Maybe it's something that people always need, like food, or something similar that's people have a perpetual appetite for, that they won't ever wean themselves of. And that's what you're looking for. So I've been thinking about this and juggling in my head what I do with these thoughts, and it's still very much a work in progress. Question about what do I do with this. So that's today's set of thoughts about arbitrage and the whole idea of where you're going off to get your wins. And that's today's thought in Rebuild.